All right, welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel, guys. And the knife is crooked. Look at that. I had it. There we go. And welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel. Say hello to Ren and Stimpy and Powdered Toast Man and Loggin TV and Charlie Brown and Choo Choo. I almost forgot what is happening. All right, so we have a review to do for you guys. This is a great knife that comes to me by way of Sean from Null Knives. Sean's an awesome dude. You know, the Voodoo and the Raiden, and this is the Grace. Now, guys, you know it's a Null Knives collaboration done by Riot in China. But what you may not know is this right here. Man, do I have it? Wow. Okay, I got it right side up. Corbin SteelWRX. Now, Brandon Corbin was on my live stream several weeks ago. Cool dude. He's a custom knife maker. He lives in the same state I do. Really cool dude doing some really epic looking work. Someday I'd love to have one of his customs, and I'm sure a lot of you would. But what Sean at Null Knives has done is brought a custom design, the most popular Corbin SteelWRX design, the Grace V2, to a production folder, and that is epic. So guys, let's get started with this review. This is the titanium version with the black micarta inlay. You have black, and we'll get the official name of what this is called here in a minute. You do have Brandon's 6-shooter pivot there, which I think is cool. Now, I've heard some people say they don't like how it sticks up. I've told you guys, I mean, on my design, the pinion, they stick up just a little bit, and it actually gives you that pinch grip. So I don't mind that at all. I actually like, it doesn't stick up much, gives you a little bit of grip, and it's pretty cool. Now, love the contoured scales. You guys know that's one of my favorite, and I like how they've done the lanyard loop in the backspacer here. That is really cool. And you have a floating backspacer, which I think is very epic. Now, guys, this is a prototype, so there are some changes. We're going to talk a lot about those here in a minute. By the way, if you're new here, we are the KnivesFAST channel, and we do fast reviews. But today, this one's going to be an overview and not really a review. And it's going to be longer because we have a lot to talk about. This is going to seem more like Lefty EDC has taken over my channel. No, I'm kidding. So you have thumb studs on this one. You have this wicked blade shape, guys. It is obviously a very, very pierce, sharp-pointed piercy tanto with this crazy swedge, a great compound grind. You have the flat here and flat up this way. Excuse me, this is a flat grind, this is a hollow grind, but I mean the flat edge of the blade. You have a very aggressive sharpening choil that works really well, but again, it is not a finger choil. Let me get around here where I can, there we go. So the very first thing that really hit me about this out of the package was ergonomics, guys. So what you see right here is a swell, and what you see on the back is a swell. And so what does Casey like in ergonomics? I love a swell. So I have a place where my two fingers come in like this, and then I have this swell, and my other two fingers, and same thing, that goes into that swell in my palm, and good night. And then you have a swell in the center of the handle. It just melts into my hand. And then I've got jimping and a thumb ramp up here, and I am as happy as a clam. This is fantastic. It's a 4-finger knife. Now, my pinky does go into that indent where the lanyard post is, but that does not bother me. And then, again, I'm kind of stopped from going way up on the blade here with this, and I kind of have an end cap to my grip back here. Just feels fantastic, but you can relax your grip. I mean, it's just great. Now, getting up here is probably not a great option for most of us because you have this swedging and the becomes very kind of sharper here, but you have plenty of room to land back here. Now, you have very nice thumb studs here. I love the shape See if I can show them to you. There you go. Shape of the thumb studs and several lines across here, so it gives you this nice smooth feel, but it still grabs your finger very well. You can see that. Look at that. I mean, you get on top of it or in back of it like this, or to the side and back is what I do, and you just push out and it's gone. And I can, let's see if easily middle finger flick this one. Easily, very easily, not a problem, which is great because every time I see Brandon do his customs, he's middle finger flicking, and that guy's going crazy. So I'm glad I can do that. So fantastic knife. Now let's go through some of the nuts and bolts here. No lock, rock, or blade play whatsoever. Lockup is at about, I'd call that 20 to 25 on the lockup. Let's see about centering. Dead on, dead centered, but it's Riot. The grind on this guy, you've got horizontal satin, you've got vertical, you've got diagonal, and you've got I mean, it is crazy looking. This is beautiful, and that is a very deep hollow grind. Now, a lot of you have asked me since I've had this, but is that a practical shape for cutting? And the answer is, I mean, this thing is going to cut, guys. It's got this wicked hollow grind. Now, you have a small bevel, but we're going to talk about that. They're making some changes that's going to make it a little more practical. It will also be a fantastic piercer. I can't really do that here without cutting myself, but trust me, it will. And then you've got this kind of utility shape for cutting like, this. Getting down into stuff, it's going to cut. It may not be your favorite blade shape. It may not be my favorite blade shape, but it will cut. I am convinced, and they're making some changes that are going to make it much better. We'll go over that in a minute. Now, action-wise, we talked about getting it out here is great. It's not really a big dropper, but I'm actually grateful with that aggressive sharpening tool. It's more of a shaker. I believe I need to double check on the paperwork, but I believe, yeah, it's running on bearings. I'm pretty sure, and we got to look at the steel too because I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll look at the paper here in just a minute. But guys, this thing is fantastic. Good blade to handle. It's way out to the tip, but you're not going to get that tip with your finger. Just really nice. Now, there was something I was going to say back here. I don't remember what it was. But I don't have any problem. Again, it's more like a bolster lock. No problem getting on the lock bar. No issues like that. Let's go ahead and do our comparisons, and then we will get around to going through all of the notes that I have here. So it's obviously smaller than the Ontario Rat 1. It's about the same length as the Ontario Rat 2. But you can see when you have it open, it does appear that the blade is shorter than the handle, but it's funny, when you fold it, it's way out here. It's just because of that aggressive tip. So let's go through some of the stuff. I'm going to pick my laptop up so I can read through this. And of course, it's got to read my face here. Okay, here we go. So the overall length is 7.2. The blade length is 3 inches. Cutting edge 2.9. Blade thickness 0.125, which is a great, it's one of my favorites. That's what both of my knives are as far as stock. Bowler M390. The handle length is 4.2. The handle thickness is 0.5 or 0.50. The handle material is grade 5. 6AL4V titanium hard. The hardware is also that same titanium, 3.8 ounces. For the size, I have no problem with that. Captive pivot, 3-piece, textured lock bar access, hidden stonewash hardware. I mean, by the way, did you notice that, guys? I almost forgot to say that until I read that. You don't see exposed hardware on this side. That's fantastic. Oh, and by the way, the transitions to the micarta, they're not there. It's like Kevin said it best, Lefty EDC. He said it's almost like the micarta. I mean, it's titanium micarta, but it's not. I mean, it's perfect. Now, there's not a lot of texture to that micarta. It's very smooth. There is a little bit of grip to the handle as far as the titanium, but it is perfection as far as the transitions there, and no hardware exposed there. And back here, you've got the screws. But on that show side, it is hidden, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. Does have a detent ramp, T8 hardware all the way around, contour handles, lock bar insert, over travel stop, cage ceramic bearings. Okay, I was right. All right, as far as the options now, guys, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. There's going to be, and by the way, the pre-order is February 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern on Null Knives website. So that is coming up. This is, by the way, the Null Knives and Corbin SteelWRX Grace. It's not just Null, it's a collaboration, obviously, since it's the design of Brandon Corbin. $325 for static wash with a stonewash blade, titanium, and that's $325. And then you've got the bead blasted belt satin with a clip spacer zirconium, a pivot zirconium, and satin hardware for $375. Anyway, you guys can read all these, but I'm going to run through them. You got the green micarta for $355. You've got the black micarta for $365. That's this guy right here. And then you've got the black camo carbon fiber, which also, I believe, has... Is that the one? No. I thought I saw one with Damasteel, but it is not. So it's bead blasted with a fat carbon black camo and black PVD, and that one's $415. So again, they'll be up on his website. I know I stumbled all over that. You guys, there are options from $325 to $415, and I think you're going to love those options. Go to Null Knives. I'll have the link down below, and go check it out. Now let's talk about changes, guys, and I'm going to show you as best I can on my laptop. Oh boy, I can't, can I? Okay, so you can see up here, the current blade is sort of more aggressive here. It's straight, very short, straight up here, and what they're doing is they're lengthening this slightly, the primary bevel, and then they're rounding the front slightly, and that's going to give you a little more ease of use of that front part of that blade, and I think it's still going to keep that mean look. You know, it's still going to be fantastic. Now the jimping I was talking about comes about a little over halfway up that thumb ramp, and they're taking it past the thumb studs, so you're going to get a little more jimping up to here, and I think that will be, I mean, you're going to use that whole thumb ramp with jimping basically. The lock bar access is decent. I mean, there's no travel through here, but you can get down in there. There's some scalloping in there. Hard to see, I know, with the black. I love black handle knives and black frames and liners, but it's so hard to see down in there when you're doing a video. So sorry about that, but there's a nice chamfer here, opening area, and they're just increasing the size of that. They're not going to add a pass-through here, but there'll be a little more room. And you know what? It's not, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just not. So that'll be good. And then let's see. The detent ramp, and again, I'm not an expert in this stuff, but basically to help with it getting past the detent on that first part easier, they're going to change the detent ramp. Basically, it says ramp will be shortened for slightly quicker disengagement. So there you go. Internal milling, they're going to do more internal milling, or is there any now? No, they're going to add internal milling. There's none there right now for weight reduction and for balance, which, you know, the balance isn't bad. It's kind of back heavy because the blade is so thin up here. So that will help for sure, and it'll drop that weight a little bit, which is, you know, the weight's not a problem for me anyway. So there you go, guys. That's a lot of data, and we're already at 14 minutes. So this is definitely not a typical KnivesFAST video, but this is not a typical KnivesFAST knife. Now, overall, let me talk. I am not usually a big fan of an aggressive tanto, which is why I like that they're softening it up a little bit. But I have followed Brandon Corbin's designs for a long time, and Brandon, there's just something about, especially the handle shapes and the way I fit the knife. So I'm okay with the blade, and as you can see, it's not like that blade isn't useful. Is it my favorite blade shape for me? Probably not, but you know what? I'm starting to get to the point in my collection that I'm getting some knives that weren't normally, like the Brass Brigade Grant Gripper is not one I would have ever done before. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I keep messing up on the studs, and I have done this a million times since I've had it. It is not the knife, guys. It is definitely me. I am just not doing well right now, talking and trying to do that at the same time. But it is fine. Wow. So there you go, guys. I don't even remember what, anyway. So I've kind of started to gravitate to some different shapes just to have some variety in my collection, and I think that's cool. Brandon has some blade shapes. I'm hoping this goes really, really well, and I think it will. I think it'll sell out pretty fast. That I hope these guys do more down the road. He's got some other ones that I just absolutely adore, and this one is fantastic. I love it in the hand. And it is great. So please go down in the description, click that Null Knives link. I'll also put Brandon some link to Brandon Corbin, probably his Instagram or something. But go check them out. Check out the pre-order on February 3rd at 8 p.m. Let me make sure what time zone that was. I almost said it, but I don't want to say it again without reading the paper. It is February 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that's coming up, guys, so please check it out. These guys were really kind to send this along. This one's going on to the next person, and I have really enjoyed checking it out. So this is a Lefty EDC video for sure. We are almost at 17 minutes, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think it's an absolutely fantastic knife. Really, really is. And, yeah, and there was something else I was going to talk about. Now it's... Oh, I was talking about the lock bar interface and over travel stop there. I just wanted, well, you're not going to really be able to see it with the black there, but trust me, it's there. I can see it very, very well. I mean, the knife overall, as Riot usually does, is just made so well, and it is beautiful. So there you go, guys. We'll wrap it up here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think. Check out those links and check out the channel if you're not subscribed. And thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, Sean, thanks for sending this one along for me to check out. And thanks for watching the KnivesFAST channel.